Good morning. Good morning. Still half asleep. Good morning, and it is November the 11th, the 11th of the 11th, and I'm really looking forward to our 2-minute silence at 11 o'clock. I enjoy that kind of stuff. So, you never know the impact that you're going to have on somebody. You never know how you affect somebody, be that positively or negatively. And I'm going to start off by sharing this morning when I woke up. Just before I woke up, I don't know if this happens to you, but you're lying there and you're semi-conscious and your eyes haven't opened yet and you're scanning through your body. And I felt particularly happy this morning as I was lying there, and I went, why am I in such a good mood? And then I started, piecing back the night of sleep. Good morning, David. Davy boy, how are you? So, men's health, this is about. But so this morning, before I actually woke up, I assessed my body and how I was feeling, and I felt in a particularly good mood. And I went, why am I in a particularly good mood? And I went, you never got up for a pee twice or 3 times during the night. And I was sharing that with the boys this morning. And it's like, it doesn't need to be a fancy watch or a fancy car or a designer bit of clothing to give you a bit of a smile when you start to get a wee bit older. Just managing to, sleeping for 10 o'clock through to 20 past 5 this morning without getting up for a pee gave me such delight. That broken sleep pattern we're having to get. Good morning, reconnecting. The signal isn't that great in the Clyde this morning. But the message that I would like to share today is you never know the impact that you're going to have on somebody. You never know how you're going to affect somebody. Now, there is scientific research, that great word that when we say scientific, people prick their ears up and go, oh, it must be real then. But what they have done is they have studied that if you see an act of kindness, so for an example, if you or I are walking down the street and we see somebody just giving themselves, just helping someone across the road, helping somebody with their messages, seeing somebody doing an act of generosity or kindness to another person, that affects us positively. So vicariously we get the oxytocin, we get that feel-good factor. And good morning, how are you? I'm really well, thank you. Hi, Chalky. So, dogs are playing. It's wee Chalky. Chalky and Ralph playing. Okay, so you never know what kind of impact that you're going to have on someone else. So, likewise, we don't know if someone walking down the street beside us is in PTSD, if they've been a veteran, if loud noises or negative behaviour, or if someone has been violently attacked. We have got no way of knowing that. Now, if, for an example, we're walking down the street and we're arguing with our partner and we're slamming doors and, we're having a really negative reaction, that's impacting the person and the people that are around us in a negative way. But likewise, if we do something positive and we give ourselves altruistically, we give ourselves and we start doing good, then the people around about us get to feel that. Now, the example of that was yesterday. Yesterday, I met up with my pal Francis Devine, and we were sitting and we just decided to do a wee live, right? We just decided to do it, right? And while we were speaking, somebody at the table next to us had been listening to our conversation, right? And that person felt drawn, that felt called to come over and and extend their gratitude for the conversation that they heard had a positive impact on them, right? Fantastic. That's amazing how friends can help friends, how we can start to really have a huge social impact on if we start to develop a behavioural change model that's going to have a social impact. And that behavioural change model starts with us. It starts with you and I. It starts with how we start to interact with our environment, how we start to interact with ourselves, how we start to treat ourselves, we start to treat those around us, and how we start to treat our environment. Now, one of the other things that I think is really poignant, which I would like to share, is I've been really blessed, I've been really honoured to have been walking with a guy called Nick Gardner. Nick Gardner's an 80-year-old male who his wife has been taken to hospital, has been hospitalised and has been taken by the illness of Alzheimer's. Morning everybody, morning Linda, morning Vicky. Taken by Alzheimer's, okay? So that had a detrimental impact on his mental health, and he decided to refocus and reframe his narrative, and at 80 years old decided to walk all the Munros in Scotland for charity, right? Now, the reframing and the refocusing part, we could all be doing with some of that, okay, from time to time, and just continually stepping up, stepping out and showing up. It's a really hard thing to just keep showing up, just keep giving yourself to your environment, okay? But what I want to share about some of the lessons from Nick Gardner, because I've had so many from him, was he is saying that he cannot believe, he's in complete disbelief around about the amount of support that he's had, about the amount of people that have got behind him. And my answer to him is, or my answer to that is that when you show up and when you start walking towards your truth and following your joy and doing the things for the right reason that makes you happy and gives you a sense of freedom, okay, the world steps up to meet you. Okay, so if you're sitting in the house, right, and you're isolating, and let's just say you're even praying for a job. I'm praying for a job. Well, are you filling in any job applications? It's like simply praying for a job is praying for a relationship. Mr. Right or Mrs. Right's not just going to fall out the sky, slide down that waterfall. Okay, your perfect partner or your perfect job is actually waiting for you, but if you don't walk towards it, it'll never walk towards you. So likewise, we have got no way of knowing. We've got no way of knowing what's round the corner. We've got no way of knowing what's going to show up for us until we start stepping out and moving towards an external reality. So very well, keeping it internally. But as I said, Francis and I did a wee blether yesterday, and that's all it really was just two guys having a blether, nothing super clever, nothing super sharp, and the feedback has been absolutely fantastic. It's been absolutely incredible that just through sitting, doing a wee chat in a cafe, that's had a positive impact on someone's mental health, and someone has started to question their current narrative. So showing up, stepping out, you have got no idea the impact that you're going to have on someone, be that positively or negatively. So what I'm asking is maybe being a little bit mindful about our actions, about how we start to interact with our environment. If we're walking about angry and throwing things about, what's he chasing? Are we running round there? Is he alright? Ralph! Dog's disappeared. So that was the message of stepping up and stepping out, and you'll never know the impact that you have, and you're never going to know what we will never know what we're going to get until we start moving towards whatever that might be. It's almost like the world will step up to meet you when you step out into the world and start giving yourself to it. Isolating in the house and focusing on it. I don't like the word positive and negative, I really don't. But it explains things relatively simply for people. Whatever you give attention to, your mind will go to. I believe that to be true. What you focus on grows. I absolutely believe that. Now, because I believe that, maybe that world gives me evidence that that's true. I don't know. But it's like this, okay? Imagine you're looking out onto an amphitheatre. Imagine you're looking out onto a stage, and there's a semicircle of seats, an array of seats, 100 seats, okay? And 1 to 100, each of them have a different feeling. Anything from pain suffering, jealousy, all the way through to joy and enlightenment, okay? Whatever you look at, it's a dark arena out there, but the minute that you look over at it, you bring light to it, and it shines a spotlight on that feeling, right? Oh, Anne sent me a message. Love watching you in the water. Hi, Anne. So, whatever you look at, it brings light to it. So if you're looking at something negative, oh, he did this to me, she did that to me, they really da, 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 da. So as you're looking at that, you get a whole massive amount of chemicals, because we're a biochemical organism, right? We're an electrochemical organism that lives in a biochemical bodysuit, inhabiting this vast electromagnetic field. So whatever you look at, you give attention to. Likewise, if you start focusing on joy, you'll start seeing more joy. You'll start experiencing more joy. Now there is an aspect of the mind wants to pull you back into stinking thinking and negative thinking. Man, that's okay. Just acknowledge that that's what a part of your mind's want to do. I'm not here to debate what that might be. I guess it would probably be some part of the egonic mind, perhaps. I don't rightly know. So I'm not qualified to figure out what that is. But whatever we start to focus on starts to grow, okay? I genuinely put a wee advert up to just share my scouting about a business that I'm starting, and it's in its very early stages. And I put a little blow up post up on Facebook. That's been starting to get brain freeze. That was Baltic in there this morning. My brain starts going blank when it gets cold. So yeah, woke up this morning, 6,788 views and 31 shares from people I don't even know. I got a text message from a counselling student whose tutor directed them towards my page because they're interested to hear about what the counselling model, the model of healing in the great outdoors that Scouting About is going to be offering. I would never have got that had I not stepped out. I am not unique. I am